Congratulations if this message reaches you before July 1st. Open now. Congratulations. If your eyes have been led to this message before July 1st, it means you've been divinely guided to a turning point that was written into the script of your soul long before you were even aware of it. Nothing about this moment is random. The timing is prophetic, the call is personal, and the confirmation is undeniable. Something within you has shifted. The invisible structure of your reality has cracked open, and what you've believed, persisted in, and assumed in silence is now coming to light. This message is not the beginning of your journey. It is the evidence that your inner world has already changed, and the outer world must now bow to it. If you have ever doubted whether your prayers were heard, whether your vision was real, or whether your belief mattered, let this message serve as your sign. You are no longer waiting. You have crossed the threshold. The season of seeing is now. Open your heart, open your mind, and open this message fully, because the manifestation is not coming. It's already here. Your inner world has shifted. The evidence is now on its way. What you are about to experience is not magic, nor is it merely a stroke of luck. It is the lawful consequence of an inner transformation that has already taken place within you. The moment you dared to assume a new state, the universe began to restructure itself to reflect that assumption. This is the truth most never understand. Life is not happening to you, it is happening from you. Your outer world is nothing more than a mirrored response to the thoughts you accept as true, the feelings you dwell in, and the identity you persist in occupying. So if this message has found its way to you now, just before July 1st, it is not to inform you of something new, but to confirm something that has already occurred within you. Your inner world has shifted. The soil of your consciousness has changed, and now the harvest is inevitable. You may not see the full evidence with your eyes just yet, but the roots have taken hold in the unseen. What is spiritual law must become physical form, for the outer always bows to the dominant inner reality. This message is a signal, a prophetic echo of what's already been set in motion. You may recall the countless moments you visualized in silence, the days you affirmed in the dark, the times you persisted in the feeling of your desire when everything around you mocked it. You held to the unseen when the seen said no. You walked by faith, not sight, and now that faith has become substance, the outer world must now take shape to match what you've assumed within. There is no force that can stop it. The only delays in manifestation come when the inner world is inconsistent, but that is not your story anymore. You have stabilized your state. You have accepted the end as already done. You no longer waver, beg, or doubt. You have shifted from hoping to knowing, from seeking to being, from wishing to having. That shift is everything, because nothing can stay the same once your consciousness has changed, and it has. You may not even realize how powerfully you've changed, because to you it may have felt like surrender, peace, quiet confidence, but that's the secret. True transformation is not loud or dramatic, it is still. It is silent, it is inward, but its effects are world-changing. You will begin to see things move in your favor, not because you manipulated them, but because they must obey the new truth of your inner state. People will treat you differently, opportunities will find you, resources will align, not because something external changed, but because you changed. You assumed your new self in spirit, and now the physical must catch up. Do not be surprised when things begin to appear with ease, without effort or striving. The world is not rewarding your struggle, it is reflecting your shift, and what is to come now will look effortless because you no longer believe you must earn it. You simply receive it. This is your new identity, one who knows, one who is, one who receives. That is why this message reaches you now. You are no longer waiting for change. You are the change, and when the inner becomes new, the outer must mirror it. This is why the evidence is now on its way. It's not about time, it's about alignment. When the inside aligns with the assumption of the wish fulfilled, the outside becomes a mirror with no choice but to reflect it. So many people try to force the world to change while holding the same thoughts, feelings, and assumptions, but not you. You took the narrow road, you did the invisible work, you turned your focus inward and built the world you desired within yourself. You fed the feeling of already having it. You rehearsed success in your imagination. You dared to call things real before they showed up. And now the tide has turned. The message comes before July 1st because the manifestation is already in motion. The spiritual momentum cannot be reversed, and now you must do the final, most powerful thing. Rest. Rest in the knowledge that it is done. Rest in the knowing that your consciousness has completed its assignment. Rest in the security that the evidence is not a matter of chance. It is the effect of your inner cause. Walk in your world now as the one who already has. See people and places and situations through the lens of your new assumption. You no longer seek signs. You are the sign. You no longer look for proof. You are the proof. The shift has already happened within you, and the outer world is just catching up. You do not chase what you've already embodied. The old you would have worried, the old you would have doubted, the old you would have tried harder, but the new you knows the truth. Manifestation is a reflection, not a reaction. You no longer need to impress the world. You impress the subconscious, and once it is impressed, the world bends. That is the law, that is the mystery, and that is why congratulations are in order. You did it quietly, privately, spiritually. The evidence will be undeniable, but long before the physical results show up, you've already won. This message is simply a celebration of that inner victory. The world is beginning to echo what you whispered in your imagination. And very soon, what was once unseen will be impossible to ignore. Because you shifted, everything else must. Watch, receive, celebrate. The evidence is on its way. Not because of fate, not because of effort, but because you are now aligned with the version of yourself that already has it all. And that inner world never lies. You have entered the window of fulfillment. You are not approaching your breakthrough. You are already in the divine window of its unfolding. This message, arriving before July 1st, is not a forecast of what might come, but a confirmation of what is now being made visible. There is a spiritual window, an invisible season, where all the unseen work you've done finally breaches the surface. You have entered that season. You have crossed into the threshold where spiritual gestation becomes material birth. It is not coming, it is here, and this sacred moment is not determined by the calendar of man, but by the calendar of consciousness. Fulfillment always arrives precisely when the inner state becomes permanent. Not a flicker of belief, not a temporary emotion, but a fixed knowing, and that knowing has taken root in you. You have assumed your new identity so deeply that it now feels natural. You have lived in the end result in your mind so long that the outer world has no choice but to conform. This is the moment where alignment meets arrival. The universe is not reacting to your prayers. It is responding to your embodiment. You stopped asking and you started claiming. You stopped waiting and you started living from the reality of already having it. That shift has put you in this divine window. Every assumption you held on to, every vision you entertained with feeling, every inner conversation that aligned with your desire, those weren't just imagination. They were creation. Real, living, spiritual forms waiting for permission to enter your visible world. And now that permission has been granted by your consistency, by your faith, by your refusal to return to the old version of yourself, there are windows in the spirit realm where everything quickens, everything aligns, and everything begins to emerge at once. You have entered such a time. This is your harvest window, and just like the farmer who waits patiently for the seed to sprout, you are now about to reap the fruits of what you sowed in consciousness. Do not mistake the stillness around you as inactivity. It is the stillness before the reveal. Life is not stuck. You are not being tested. You are being crowned, and this crowning happens internally before it is acknowledged externally. The moment you honored yourself as already fulfilled, the universe bowed in agreement. Now people, situations, and circumstances are being reassembled. The pieces are falling into place without your control, because spiritual law has already locked in the outcome. You do not have to push or manipulate anything. The fulfillment is already yours. This moment is not a question. It is an answer. It is the reflection of your endurance, your persistence, your unwavering belief in the unseen. You crossed the threshold when you stopped reacting to appearances and started responding to your inner conviction. That shift changed everything. Your energy no longer speaks of waiting. It radiates certainty. Your imagination no longer holds wishful thinking. It now holds truth. Your emotional state has stabilized, and your thoughts are saturated with the end you have already accepted as yours. This is the evidence of one who has stepped fully into the window of fulfillment. Everything you need now is coming without delay because the inner climate has ripened. The spiritual conditions are perfect for breakthrough. You will begin to notice things align without effort. People will appear who carry answers. Doors will swing open that were once sealed shut. You will receive messages, invitations, and resources in a flow so divine that you will no longer doubt that this was always meant to be. And it is not because the world suddenly changed. It is because you did. This message reaches you now because it mirrors back the frequency you've risen into. This is not about what you hope for. It is about what you already are. And because you are it, you will now see it. The universe doesn't delay fulfillment. It waits for your inner confirmation, and you have confirmed it. You've signed it in thought. You've sealed it in feeling. You've delivered it through assumption. Now the package of your desire is arriving. You no longer live in the gap between desire and reality. You've closed that gap through your consciousness. You no longer see your dream as distant. You see it as done. And that perspective is the doorway into the window of fulfillment. The old timeline is collapsing, and the new timeline, the one you created in imagination, is becoming dominant. You are now walking in that reality, even if it's only visible to you for now. But soon others will see it too. They'll wonder how it happened so fast, not knowing how long you carried it in silence. They'll call it a miracle, but you'll know it was law. They'll call it luck, but you'll know it was alignment. They'll call it sudden, but you'll know it was inevitable. You are now in the season where things will happen quickly, not because time has sped up, but because resistance has fallen away. You are no longer double-minded. You are no longer waiting for proof you are the proof, and this message is simply the echo of that truth. July 1st isn't just a date. It's a spiritual landmark, a point of reference that you'll look back on and say, that's when everything shifted. Not because of outside events, but because of what you fully accepted within. That is the moment the window opened. That is the moment manifestation became irreversible. You do not need to strive anymore. Your only work now is to walk in the fulfillment with gratitude and expectation. Celebrate now, not because you're hopeful, but because you're sure. You are no longer in the waiting room. You are in the birthing room. And what you've carried in consciousness is about to be delivered into form. Hold the vision, keep the feeling, walk in the knowing. The window is open, and fulfillment is not coming. It's already here. Doubt no more. You are the cause, not the effect. You are not a passive observer in the story of your life. You are the author, the narrator, and the creator of every scene you experience. If this message has reached you before July 1st, it has arrived to do more than inspire you. It has come to awaken you to the eternal truth you've perhaps forgotten in moments of fear, confusion, or delay. You are the cause, not the effect. Your world does not shape you. You shape your world. Your circumstances are not sovereign. Your inner state is, and this is not philosophy or abstract encouragement. It is law. Unchanging, impersonal, and exact, the world, with all its appearances and noise, is but a mirror reflecting your assumptions, your beliefs, and your identity. Nothing has ever truly happened to you without first being accepted by you. Not consciously always, but deeply, through repetition, emotion, imagination, and belief. That is why the moment you changed inwardly, your outer reality began to loosen its grip and move in a new direction. This is why things feel different now, even if you can't fully explain why. You have been reordering the cause within you, yourself, concept, your assumption of how life treats you, and your emotional reactions to circumstances. And because of that, everything around you must shift. If you've ever wondered why certain patterns repeated, why certain results seemed to delay, or why your desires remained unfulfilled despite your effort, the answer was never outside of you. It was never other people, fate, or time. It was always the reflection of a state you occupied without realizing it. You now know this, which is why you are stepping into a reality that bends to your new understanding, and because of this understanding you are free. No longer a victim of circumstances, you've become their master, not through domination or control, but through spiritual alignment. When you stop trying to manipulate the mirror and instead change the face you present to it, the entire world rearranges. And this you have done. That's why this message reached you, not to start your journey, but to confirm that the old path is over and the new has begun. Doubt no more. Doubt is the language of one who still sees the world as cause and self as effect. But faith is the language of one who sees the self as the origin of all things seen, and you now live by faith, not in a deity outside of you, but in the divine intelligence within you that creates all things through assumption. You know now that when you imagine a scene and accept it as real, the world around you conspires to fulfill it. You know now that when you occupy the state of already having, rather than merely wanting, everything begins to move. Not by chance, but by law. You are no longer waiting for signs, you are the sign. You are no longer asking for permission, you are declaring the end from the beginning. You are no longer trapped by appearances, you are guided by truth. That truth is this: as you assume, so shall it be. This is not wishful thinking, it is creative law. The world responds not to what you want, but to who you are in consciousness. And now that you've accepted the truth of your identity, the evidence must come. You are the cause of your abundance, the cause of your healing, the cause of your restoration, the cause of your relationship breakthroughs, your elevation, your opportunities. There is nothing too big to manifest and nothing too late to claim. The moment you believe it is yours, the spiritual wheels begin to turn. The manifestation is born in that very moment, not when you see it, but when you accept it inwardly as true. So this message comes now to say what your soul already knows: doubt no more. You are not powerless, you are powerful beyond measure, not because of who you know, where you live, or what you've done, but because of the divine nature within you that governs your world from within. You are not here to observe miracles, you are here to create them, with thought, with feeling, with assumption, with faith. Look back at your life and see the pattern. Every major shift occurred not when circumstances changed, but when you changed. When you decided to believe in the impossible, when you stopped complaining and started assuming, when you stopped blaming and started imagining, that moment of internal change was always the true point of creation. And now, as you stand on the edge of July 1st, this message reaches you not as a warning or prediction, but as an announcement. The outer world is catching up to your inner state. The days of delay are over. The fruit is ready, the shift is complete. You have assumed the new version of yourself long enough that the old reality can no longer survive. It must dissolve, it must give way to the new. Watch closely in these next few days, not with desperation but with delight. Not with doubt, but with confidence, for the world is already bending to your new cause. You will see what you've assumed, you will walk in what you've imagined, you will possess what you've already claimed in consciousness. Nothing can stop it now. You are the cause. Your reality is not being dictated by statistics, opinions, or trends. It is being written in the invisible ink of your imagination and sealed by the conviction of your feeling. That is why doubt has no place in your life anymore. It served you once as a contrast, but now you have matured, now you are awake, now you are responsible for your creations, and you rejoice in that responsibility because it means you are never stuck, never trapped, never lost. You are always one new assumption away from a new world, so walk boldly, speak with authority, declare your truth internally, and let the world respond, because it will, because it must, because you are the cause. Celebrate in advance. You've already received it in spirit. Do not wait for the outer world to give you a reason to celebrate. Celebrate now, because in the unseen it is already done. The truth you are being called to live in this sacred moment before July 1st is that what you desire has already been created the moment you assumed it. The moment you imagined the scene, felt the reality of it, and accepted it without contradiction, it was birthed into existence in the unseen realm. This is not fantasy. This is the highest law of creation. The physical world is not the beginning of anything. It is merely the evidence, the echo, the after effect of what was already declared as true in the realm of consciousness. And so, if you are waiting for a sign to praise, to rejoice, to be confident, you have misunderstood the very nature of creation. The celebration is not the result, it is the cause. To rejoice now when nothing seems to have changed is to prove to your subconscious mind that you are no longer in waiting, no longer in wanting, no longer in separation. You are in possession, you are in union. You are in full agreement with the version of yourself who already has it, and from this place of inner celebration, the physical world is summoned into alignment. You are not reacting to your environment, you are commanding it by the energy you broadcast from your soul. And when you celebrate before the evidence, you declare to the universe, I trust the unseen more than the seen. That is the energy that creates miracles. That is the faith that moves mountains. That is the state that collapses timelines and brings into form what others are still hoping and waiting for. You see, it is not hard work or effort that brings results in the spiritual dimension. It is assumption, sustained and lived in. The world responds to who you are being, not what you are saying. And when you are being the one who already has the thing you desire, your very vibration makes space for it to manifest. The law cannot fail. It does not operate by emotion or worthiness, but by alignment, and celebration is alignment in motion. To wake up and thank the universe for what you've already received, even before your eyes have seen it, is the most powerful act of faith you can perform. It signals to the infinite that you are ready, that you are no longer needing to get anything because you already are everything, and this changes the entire game. You are no longer hoping for the relationship. You are walking in the consciousness of being loved. You are no longer wishing for the opportunity. You are moving as one who is already chosen. You are no longer chasing money. You are living in the abundance of one who knows wealth is drawn to them by their inner truth. The moment you embrace this state, life begins to reflect it with uncanny accuracy. And this message, reaching you now, is a divine reminder. Celebrate now, for you are already there in spirit. The world is simply catching up. There is no delay when there is no contradiction within. The only thing that ever slows down manifestation is the internal doubt, the hesitation, the wavering between states. But the one who celebrates in advance is the one who has decided firmly, it is done, not in words, but in being. That decision is everything. It shifts your posture, your mood, your speech, your expectations. You are no longer looking for signs because you are the sign. You are no longer begging for confirmation because your joy is the confirmation. Let the celebration be the proof of your possession. Others may look at your life and see nothing new. Let them wonder why you smile without a reason, why you walk with confidence when there is no evidence, why you radiate peace when logic says you should be anxious. They do not yet know that your results are not manufactured by effort but revealed through inner assumption. You are not waiting for something to change. You are the change. The world bends for the one who knows it already has. And you do. You know that once the desire was born in you, so was the path to its fulfillment. You know that once you felt the end in imagination, it became a living seed planted in the womb of reality. That seed does not need your worry to grow. It needs your water of praise. It needs your nourishment of gratitude. It needs your sunlight of joy. And when you live in this energy, even before the manifestation becomes visible, it cannot be denied. So celebrate in advance, dance in your room, speak to yourself as though the dream is done, give thanks as though the package has arrived, smile as though the contract is signed, the relationship has blossomed, the healing is complete, the breakthrough is here. Because spiritually it already is, the world must obey what you persistently assume and joyfully expect, and you are now in the state of one who expects only the good, the beautiful, the divine. This message is your holy announcement that you're not behind, not stuck, not forgotten. You're right on time, you've moved into your appointed season, you've crossed into the fulfillment zone. July 1st is not a finish line, it is a visible marker of an invisible shift. Something has already changed in you, and the world will soon bear witness to it. But until then, let your joy be your evidence, let your peace be your proof, let your celebration be the sound of your soul saying, it is already mine, because it is, and as you celebrate, you create. As you rejoice, you receive. As you praise, you pull heaven to earth. This is your truth. This is your power. Celebrate now. for your spirit has already received what your eyes are about to behold.